Hello, welcome to the second module of the catfish farming course. In this module, we'll be discussing farm setup and pond construction. By the end of this module, you would understand the requirements in selecting a suitable farm site, and you will gain knowledge on pond tank construction, including design, setup, and maintenance. Lastly, you will learn about biosecurity measures and hygiene practices to protect the catfish stock during your farm setup. What's the importance of site selection? If you make a bad site selection, your catfish health and their growth will be limited. So there are a lot of factors you should consider. The location, what is the soil type, what is the water availability, and what's the climate condition. More importantly, water availability and soil type and the location are very critical for a catfish business. To choose the right location, make sure that you choose a location that is close to water, close to your feed suppliers and close to market, so dat you spend less time in moving your fish from farm to market. Make sure that where you are choosing has a means of access to transportation, good road, electricity and security, especially when it comes to road. So when you move your fish, you don't have a lot of accident that limit or causes harm to your fish. Avoid areas that are prone to flooding, because once there is flooding, all of your fish will go away. And avoid areas that have pollution, because pollution will affect your water quality, airborne and waterborne. In a selecting right, also make sure that if you are planning to raise your fish in an earthen pond which is on the soil, use loamy or clay soil, and that's because it has high water retention. Avoid sandy soil, because apart from the fact that main ten ance is hard for sandy soil, the fishes die easily within sandy soil environment. More importantly, make sure you test your soil. Please run a soil test. Go to a lab, pick the soil from the location and test, so dat they can check if the soil can retain water for your fish. After doing that, ensure you have a consis ten t access to clean water. Dis is either through river, borehole or from the government. I always advise access to borehole and river or a source that is consis ten t is critical for your fish. Also make sure that the water you are using is free from contaminant like chemicals and heavy metals. Dis is why borehole and river waters are better, because government sold water are usually treated. Ensure that there is easy drainage, because at the point where you be changing water, you want to ensure that where you are, there is a way and pathway for you to move dis water out of the fish pond with ease, and it should be something that allows you to maintain the water quality easily. After ensuring that they are reliable water sources, the next thing you need to check is the impact of climate change on your fish farming business. Ensure that there is a balance of sun and shade for the pond area, so that you can reduce algae. Algae is those green thing that grows around water, so you can reduce their growth, right? And rainfall can affect, but then when you have alternate source to water, it works perfectly for you. Temperature, it's always good to ensure your temperature is between 25 to 30, so that it can support your catfish growth, which is why as a catfish farmer you should have a thermometer, so that from time to time you can check the temperature and balance it for your fish. There are types of ponds that people can use for fish farming. There's the earthen pond, which is the kind of pond you are seeing in this picture. There's a concrete pond, the one that they use block to make. And you have to understand that earthen pond is low cost and it's like natural system and suitable if you have a large land space. And the concrete is easier to control, but you require more money to set up, because you have to build up, and it's best for urban area or semi-urban area. You need to consider your cost, space and location when selecting the type of pond. So if you have so much money you want to do concrete, um in an urban setting, if you're in the rural area, you want to do earthen pond, or you have access to land mass just like this one that we can see on the picture. To build an earthen pond, the first thing you need to do is clear and level the site, remove all the vegetation and debris. And the second thing you now need to do is excavate the soil, remove all the soil to the depth of 1 to 1.5 meters, just like the picture we can see. And then decide your shape. This is a rectangle shape. You can do square shape, you can do circular shape. Then line the pond base with clay soil for water retention. After that, you can now install your water inlet and outlet for proper water flow. So how will water be going out, how will water be coming in? You want to set that in. When you are done, fill up with water and create embankment to prevent flooding. So you want to set up now system that ensures that once there is flooding, your fish are not all out, right? Just like how this, if you notice, there's like two steps. So there's good embankment on this pond. For concrete, you first of all design the layout, what the shape, the depth, then you build your concrete foundation and wall. Then you install drainage pipes and ensure that there is a smooth water flow system. Then you test for leak and reinforce where necessary. Then you then apply waterproof paint or sealant to reduce the water seepage. So you see that there's a lot of things you need to buy to get this one sorted. And when you want to design for efficiency, right, it's always good to use rectangle or square pond to help improve your water circulation over circular pond. Make sure that you keep your depth at 1 to 1.5 for temperature control, so it don't become too deep for them or too shallow for them. Then drainage system, ensure you have a good drainage system that you move the waste of your fish. Is that you are recycling the water, or you have somewhere where that water pass into in a place that is effective. Usually there's an advice to add aeration devices. Aeration devices, usually you shop for it from shops where they sell farm tools. Aeration devices, once you put them into your pond, it allows you to maintain good oxygen levels within your pond. Now, after setting up the pond, another thing we need to know is water quality, pH scale. Remember that I mentioned that you need to have a pH meter. So a pH scale is needed so that you can ensure that your water is between 6.5 to 8.5 for your catfish health. You also need a thermometer to make sure that the temperature is within range. So you also want to do regular cleaning, right? So any uneaten feed, remove it from the water to prevent contamination, and have your own water testing kit so you can monitor your water parameters regularly. Now let's talk about the fish tank. The fish tank system is space efficient, ideal for urban areas or people with limited land. So it's either plastic, concrete, or fiberglass. So what we have here is the plastic, right? And it can be expensive. You also want to check durability. So fiberglass lasts longer than the plastics would last, and ease of cleaning and use. The fiberglass and can be easy to wash off. The same thing with the plastic, can be easy to wash off. In selecting these things, you have to check your stock density. So how many fish do you want to put? If it's 1 meter by 1 meter, then you need 50 to 100 fish. So you use that to decide what you are buying or what you are building. Then for materials, plastic is affordable and lightweight. Concrete is durable, then but fiberglass is resistant to corrosion. But you have to ensure that whatever tank you use, your drainage system and cover is there to protect your fish from direct sunlight. As much as you can, ensure that your fish do not have direct sunlight too much. In comparing the tank system and the pond system, the advantages of the tank is that it's easy to maintain, it manages your space, you are in a more controlled environment. But you have to remember that it limits your capacity, and the cost at the initial is very, very high. For the pond own, it's more natural, right? It gives the fish their natural ecosystem need. You need lesser operational cost to set it up, but you need land and you need maintenance. So operational may be like less activities, you are not dealing with tear and all of that, but then you need maintenance because as grass is growing, you have to clear, you have to make sure the place is neat enough for your fish all the time. What is now, beyond all of this, another thing you need to consider when you are setting up your farm is the biosecurity of your farm. What is biosecurity? Biosecurity are measures you put in place to protect your fish stock from diseases through preventive measures. And their hygiene is around cleanness of your pond, making sure that your pond is clean, the equipment used in your pond, they are all clean. And usually biosecurity starts from even fencing and putting controlled access such that unauthorized people and animals cannot come into your farm. But beyond that, how do you protect your fish health with biosecurity? See, when you buy new fish, isolate them before you put them into your pond. So it means that at the point when you are building, you have an isolation center and your main center. So when you are bringing in new fish, they stay in your isolation center for a while before you take them into your main pond. Next, clean all equipment all the time to ensure that there are no form of infection around it. Then once you have a dead fish, please clear it clear it up, bury it, dry it if you want to make it into feed, but make sure you clear it up. The last thing you want to put is foot bath, which is the picture of what you are seeing. Foot bath and hand washing. So foot bath is such that anybody that is walking around your farm, first of all, sanitize their feet. So everything they've walked in with does not go into your farm. For their hand, anything they've touched does not also come into your farm. If you have set up biosecurity, then you now have a structured farm setup, from the pond to the environment to biosecurity measures in place. Now, how do you keep this farm clean? Make sure you're cleaning the areas, remove all the waste, maintain all your equipment, use safe method to control pests around the pond. So as if you can see this picture, there is a net. The reason for that net is because of bird and some of the rodents that come, so that they can hang on it instead of going into it. So people put different kind of things to protect their fish from pests. Now you also have to do routine check, observe your fish every day. Once you see signs of disease and stress, always make sure you address it efficiently. In conclusion, in this model, we have talked about sites, we've talked about pond and tank construction, how it impact your fish, water quality, and we've spoken about biosecurity and hygiene practices. And all these are critical at the point of setting up your pond. What's the activity? Which biosecurity measure have you seen on a farm before? And of all the pond type we've talked about, which do you think would be best for you, for the location you have around you, and why? Let us know in the comment section, and we'll see you in the next model.